Welcome to Zen. Whoops, this is not Zen Live. That was my morning talk. Welcome to Martini Time, or Following the Dharma Trail. So, happy trails to you, as Roy Rogers used to sing. And I suppose he was my first guru, Roy Rogers and the Singing Cowboys. So, as Jackie Gleason said, how sweet it is. So anyway, last evening, we talked about integrate, don't segregate. And I was talking about the integrating mind versus the segregating mind. And I've been writing about that on Facebook today. People coming to the talk, and we're talking and dialoguing and coming up with new insights. And that's the way I like it to go. So, and by the way, I forget to remind you that all of my talks are on my blog, which is tokillaminotaur.com. tokillaminotaur.com, which is not from the book To Kill a Mockingbird, but from the myth of Theseus and the Minotaur and Ariadne's thread, which you need to get out of the labyrinth of the mind. So following the Dharma Trail is following Ariadne's thread. And my talks are my Ariadne's thread. This is what my talks are, basically my following Ariadne's thread out of the labyrinth of the modern mind, which is where we're all stuck. The labyrinth of the modern mind, you see. So anyway, let's talk about the integrating versus the segregating mind. And I thought I would, first of all, let's change mix it up a little bit. And let's start with force. Now there are two forces, and I'm not a physicist, so I hope you can correct me or check or expand on what I'm saying. But there's centrifugal force and centripetal force. And centrifugal force is the force you get in the carnival ride where the cylinder is spinning around and it pins you on the wall. It throws you out. Centrifugal force throws you out, you see. But what brings you in? Centripetal force. That brings you in. So the universe has these two forces, but they are in balance. If it was all centrifugal force, it would all be just, everything would just explode, just gone. But the centrifugal force balances it. So these two forces are always in balance. So the centrifugal force is inclusion. It's always expanding and including. The centripetal force is exclusion. So it's always reducing, always pulling in. Now each force in our now I'm trying to understand the consciousness. Consciousness is always, life is always seeking the one, because the one is the unity. So we're always trying to restore unity, to find the one, the coherence, the whole, you see. But we were always missing the mark. So there's two ways to find the one. Now, one way, the centrifugal or the inclusive way, is to keep expanding and including new experience, including new information, including new clues, including new objects. Everything you discover, you include. It's kind of like the Roman Empire worked on that. When they came to a new territory, they didn't kill everybody there. They included them and made them Romans. And the Holy Roman Catholic Church worked that way. They didn't come to another barbarian religion and kill everybody. They just made them Catholics. Included them. The mother includes. So the centrifugal force is a goddess force. It includes all my children. You come across somebody new, you don't kill them. You don't build a wall and keep them out. You include them. Come on in. Come on in for tea. Somebody who is ever at your door, you include them. You welcome them. That's the inclusion. So whatever comes, and this is the logic, the drive of Sherlock Holmes, the detective. You come on a clue, you don't exclude it and say, well, that doesn't matter. No, you say, there's a clue there. What does that mean? So I expand my understanding to include the new evidence. I don't exclude it, erase it, call it wrong, you see. So you get the idea of the exclusion, of the include. That's the integrating mind. You integrate everything into you. You never draw a boundary and say, yeah, that's it. I'm not going any further. I've got my wall. I've got my me. I'm not giving up any more of me now. I'm not letting down this wall. My opinion is here. My position is rigid, and I'm stuck, and I'm not changing. I don't care how much evidence you bring up. No more inclusion. I'm done. Now, the title of this talk is Be MacGyver. So the metaphor for the integrating mind is MacGyver. I love that TV show. I haven't watched the new one. But it's based on the integrating mind. No matter what kind of a fix he's in, he integrates whatever is available. He integrates into his need. Whatever he needs, the world gives him what he needs to creatively use to get out of a fix. All of the action heroes, Indiana Jones, all the action heroes do that, are metaphors for the integrating mind. No matter what kind of a fix they're in, something is there, a branch, a stick, a chair, a piece of glass, a cup, I don't care. It's just right there, and they use it to get out of a fix. Now the other mind, the centripetal mind, the exclusive mind, goes the other way. It's the analytical, literal mind. It's the reductionist. It doesn't want to get to the one by expanding. It wants to get to the one by reducing down to the one thing. Like science, when it said, the atom, that's the one thing that can't be divided. But lo and behold, they divided the atom, and so now they get into quantum. Still looking for the one thing that can't be divided, you see. So that's how analysis works. It works like a scalpel. You keep chopping away what it isn't. It's not this, it's not this, it's not this. So you can get down to the one pure thing that cannot be divided. And racism works that way. You want to get down to the one pure race that can't be divided or corrupted. That's why racism is exclusive. You see. You get the idea. So the exclusive mind, the rational, analytical mind is necessary. I'm not saying it's bad. You need it to make machines. This is the mind of the scientist. But the scientist does not get the insight into a new theory unless he uses the integrating mind, unless he uses the inclusive mind. So when he surrenders, when there's a problem, I can't figure it out, I'm stuck, I know there's a solution, I know there's a theory, but I can't get my hands around it. Oh, and you work and you sweat for years, and finally you just quit. And then you take a break, go play pool, and bam, the balls hit, and suddenly, eureka! And he goes running to the office to write down the theory. The exclusive mind surrendered and allowed the inclusive mind to make the leap and include the new evidence that had not been integrated into this new idea and new world. You see. So these two work together in the spiritual path. In the world, we work with the analytical mind, we work with the exclusive mind. But if we want understanding, if we want to be free, if we want to transcend our boundaries, we have to surrender that mind to the inclusive mind. And it will automatically leap forth and include what you're not including. And the unconscious will become conscious, you see. Because when we're stuck in a boundary, a wall of assumptions, and so we're just conscious within that wall of assumptions. But the vast universe is on the other side of the wall. So we say, that's unconscious, that's death, I don't want to go there. But we feel contracted, we feel in a cell, we feel like a fish in a bowl, or a prisoner in a room, you see. I can't see the walls, but I feel cramped, you see. So I try to find the way out by my analysis. And I can't do it. Because the analysis can't get over the assumptions. The analysis just works with the known. So if we have the heart of the spiritual seeker, we see the pain and we suddenly just give it up. But we don't go away. We just allow the pain of ambiguity of not knowing to be there. We become comfortable with the not knowing, but we don't go away. We stay with it. And that space, that pause, allows the inclusive mind to leap forth and see what it had not seen before. And that becomes the, aha, I see. And if we're in a relationship and we see suddenly that the other person is a person too, we go, aha, you and I were one, and we hug, you see. Whereas before it was exclusion. I'm not going to include you. You're the other. You see. So this works in all areas of our life. The play between these two drives. And MacGyver is kind of like a TV metaphor for the integrating mind. Not the literal mind. The literal mind says, MacGyver says, well, I need something to dig with, and he picks up a pencil. And the literal mind says, well, you can't use that, that's a pencil. You can only use that to write with. Put it back. That's the literal mind. That's the reductionist mind. It reduces everything to dictionary definitions. And it can't break out. And it's kind of like where our country is caught today. One force in politics wants to include everybody. The other force wants to exclude everybody and get down to the pure one. But both are seeking the one, only in different directions. One force is seeking the one by embracing all, and the other one is by excluding all and getting down to the single unit, the single individual, you see. So both are seeking God, both are seeking the one, but in the wrong direction. And the inclusive one, you could say mythologically, is the mother. The mother always includes all the children. The father's function is more of exclusion, who says, well, you haven't passed the test, so you don't get to go. You passed the test, so you get to go. That excludes. You're not ready yet, you see. And that's necessary. So both are necessary, the father and the mother. Inclusion and exclusion. But we have to learn how to balance the two and not exclude and not get these two forces divorced and have just one or the other. Thanks for dropping in. See you on Facebook.